folks. It's 3:44 a.m. For those of you who watched my tapes over the years, this is the way I usually did it up until actually the summer. To be repetitive, you folks know that I'm a dialysis patient, and I usually get off about 4 in the afternoon. I come home, my darling Tiana feeds me something for supper, and I go to bed. And about 12, 1 o'clock, I wake up. 6, 7, 8 hours sleep. Wake up, middle of the night, play on the computer, watch TV. You got the sports channel back there. Play on my radio. Just generally get ready for the day. I'll go back in now in a couple hours and go to bed again, and get up with the wife, and then we'll spend a normal day. And that seems to work out to make our life pretty uniform. Really got a marvelous woman. Puts up with bad. There are a lot of gals out there in the world, you know, their hubby comes down with something. What I've got isn't necessarily terminal. We're all going to pass from something, but it keeps me alive. And a lot of women that husbands encounter a situation like this, you know, after a while they say, I've had all this I can stand, I'm going to go out and get a life, yada, yada, yada. But we do, well, of course we do our little hiatus to Siegel North during the summer. Spend our winters down here during the at Siegel South during the winter, and she's got gardens in both places and things to do, so it works out well. Anyway, 3:44. Figured better get on here and say hi. Some little scamp, my youngest son, I believe, got on here and ginned up a howdy do. Tried on my hat over there. His hat wouldn't fit. Let me see. I know his head much bigger than mine. Hang on. Let me see. He was having a terrible time with that. Yeah, he's pretty good. I guess my head is that much smaller than his. He must have modified this. I didn't get this pointy thing here. I'm not one of your classic Western guys. Actually, I feel a little silly. I have my straws that I wear during the summer months. You see those at my tapes from Siegel North. But that thing, it's predominantly like up a mowing the grass, and I want to keep the sun off my head down here. When you mow the grass in the summer, it's just whew. But anyway, I haven't got much. I wanted to go after my President Senator from Texas, Mr. Cruz, Ted Cruz. He seems to be happy with the specter that the country will fall apart. I mean, he's riding the wave of popularity down here. I mean, he gets a standing ovation every time he comes into a room here in Texas. I gotta tell him that there's 50 states, and aside from the states that constitute the old Confederacy, the rest of the country is pretty well on board with Obamacare. They don't want to secede from the Union. He's just bucking for, hang on, I gotta do something. He's just bucking, maybe trying to enhance his image, maybe run for president in 2016. I don't know. But him and his Tea Party guys, it could be the ruination of the nation. I meant to look up, and I didn't do it. Back when the old Soviet Union broke up, uh, there was a news commentator. Boy, I wish I could think of his name. I'll look it up so that I can put it on my next tape. But I remember either as the Soviet Union was falling apart or shortly thereafter, within a month after Russia came back into being, they interviewed this guy on American television. I really liked him. I was not a Soviet Union guy, but when a person is smart and sharp and on his game, you recognize it. And I remember a comment he made, and what it was that the thing that actually took the Soviet Union down was that the republics that constituted the Soviet Union stopped sending in their contributions to the tax system to Moscow. And Moscow very shortly got to the point it couldn't operate. You don't operate without money. And Gorbachev refused to send out the Soviet military to force them to, send in their contributions. So, in due time, the country fell apart as it was constituted, from 17 to 89, 90. And I remember this commentator. Of course, he was very distraught. His country had ceased to be. But I remember he said, if you don't think that this can't happen to the United States, because we are kind of a confederation, the United States of America. And he said, it can happen to you. At the time you say, well, yeah, it was crazy. The guy's nuts. They're not going to happen to us. We're a republic. We're not a confederation, but we're an amalgamation of, states, and our country is run by Washington. Well, here in the last month, and I can't tell you where I heard it, but I heard a guy that was in the Tea Party, in the old southern section, what we used to call Confederacy down south, and he put forward the specter that his state and maybe some of the other southern states would stop participating in the central government in Washington. Of course, this happened in a different form back in 1860s. They just they got their guns and went to war. But something that would destroy the United States is if the tax structure wasn't, what's the word I'm looking for? If these states could withhold their tax money, keep it to themselves, and the central government in Washington decided not to force them to make their contributions, and the United States fell apart. It could happen. You'd have the Confederacy, you'd have the balkanization of the United States. Now, obviously, I don't believe this is going to happen, but I remember the guy, the old Russian commentator. He wasn't an old gentleman. He's younger than I am now. I'm going to look it up on the computer. Yeah, I'm sure it's there. And he said, if you don't think it can't happen to you, you just wait. Prophetic words? I certainly hope not. But we've just barely skinned by a real disaster. These guys, the people that think that defaulting on our national obligations is just, let it happen. This is major stuff. It could bring down the world's economy, let alone the United States. It's money that makes everything go. And if we came to the same situation that the old Soviet Union did, we could very, very well fragment and turn out to be just a small bunch of, entities out here, what used to be the United States. Don't think it's going to happen. But I heard a guy, I should research my information better, but I heard somebody in the Tea Party in the South, in this bunch of nitwits that brought about this last fracas, put forward this thing. Hope it doesn't happen. I'm sure it won't, but I've heard it. Anyway, kick the can down the road. January, February, they're going to go through it all again. The only resolution there's going to be to this problem is for either the Republicans or the Democrats, either or, I don't care, run somebody capable against these teabaggers and get them out of there. You know, the United States is a Republican. We have a central government, and we have two houses of Congress and two houses of legislature and a executive branch, you know, and a judicial, and it works real well. But the teabaggers, which are an extreme fringe of the Republican Party, seem to be hell-bent and determined to, you know, disrupt this. If they can't have their way, then they'll just destroy what is here. Of course, as long as we still have central elections and everything, we can vote these dudes out. And I hope we do it. I don't have a problem with the Republicans having control of the House. As a rule, McCain and these other guys are pretty reasonable people. I mean, you know, they have their philosophy, which is more oriented toward the rich and private industry and whatnot, and you have the Democrats, which are more the populist party. But amalgamation of both sitting down, talking it out, and coming to an agreement has worked all these years. And now you got these guys, we call them neo-Nazis, from the they're operating a lot like the Nazis did before when they came to power. You know, the Nazis in Germany, they got into the Reichstag, and they disrupted things to where the Reichstag couldn't function. These guys are doing the same thing. They're into the House at the moment, and they're so radical and so set in their political philosophy that a lot of times things can't function. You're going to get another dose of it in January and February. And we need to vote these guys out. Whatever districts they're in, most of them are in the Deep South, although there's one of them up there at Siegel North. I don't know what his name is, but he's a teabagger. Need to get these people out and get more moderate voices in their position so that some of these problems that have come up that they've created can be resolved. So, y'all hear me now? There's some Siegel South talk. Yeah, I am now. Next election, particularly in 14, we need to go out and beat these guys and get the country to where it functions again. I don't mean have all Democrats, you have Republicans. I mean, normally a Republican's a pretty, you know, reasonable person. I was watching, I was reading the Salamanca Republican Press, and my old home up there, Cattaraugus County, up Siegel North, they used to have what's called Board of Supervisors. Now they have another title on it. I forgot what it's called. But anyway, I was reading in the press, and there were Republicans and there were Democrats, and they were talking over possibly tearing down the old museum there across from where I lived. That'd be a shame. Spend $75,000 to tear down the museum. I'd like to spend $75,000 to fix the building and put the stuff back in the museum. Well, but anyway, they were talking to each other. It wasn't just my way or the highway. And we need to do this on a national basis again. God bless Cattaraugus County and their legislature, because they've got sense and they're talking over issues that pertain to them. We need more of that in Washington. want to, you know, I worked at the post office for 37 years. Now, one of the things you run into at the post office is people's names. I worked in Arlington. When I first went to work there, it was about 50,000 people. Now it's closing in on 400,000 people. I haven't worked there since '03, 10 years ago. I've been retired 10 years. But one of the things I remember were weird names. People, you know, they look in that basket and they say, I know, let's call him Morford. Two that come to mind. One gentleman, his name was McKesson G. Petsuck. I hope McKesson's not seeing this because I hate to ridicule his name, but you know, if your name is Petsuck, why in heaven's name would you name the kid McKesson? Sounds like a can of cleanser or something. Then, the other one that comes to mind, and there's a lot of them, but I can't remember it, but this fella sticks in my mind. We had a lawyer there in Arlington. Had a mailbox, came to my window regularly, for a while anyway. And his name was Richard Dangle. Another situation. Your name is Dangle. First off, I don't know, you know, is that Irish? You know, what nationality is Dangle? But Richard was at my window one day, filling out the stuff, you know, and old devil me. I said, by the way, I said, do they ever give you any trash about that name there, Dick? The last time he came to my window. Can you imagine being in a courtroom trying to present your side of a really important case with a name like Dick Dangle? I can't dream that up. That's the way it is. I mean, that's true. I couldn't make that up. Anywho, it's my day off tomorrow. What am I going to do? Well, I'm probably going to load this. It takes quite a while. Go get my car washed. Down here in Texas, we have more dirt roads than they do in New York. Siegel South has more dirt roads than Siegel North. And they're a different type of dirt road. Down here, they use a thing called cliche. And it's like ground up chalk dust. When it's dry, it's dust. I mean, you drive along and there's this big swirl of dust. You can sit in my backyard and you can watch people going on the roads out in the distance because the big curl of dust is going along. Then when it rains, it turns to a layer of muck about this deep, and of course that gets all over your car. And we have a lot of dirt roads with cliche surfaces. So my car stays in, you know, my little Kia, it stays in a constant state of ugh. And it's really double ugh right now. So I'm thinking of up in Cleburne town adjacent to us here, there's a car wash. And you know, you drive it in for $10, you know, they put a nice finish on it. And I'm probably going to do that. The only bad part about it is by tomorrow night, if I stray off on one of the dirt roads, it'll all be, you know, it'll be scrubbed up again. But I'm going to do it, so I'm going to go wash the car tomorrow. I should do it myself, but I think I'll be lazy and let the folks up there do it. Told you about Dick Dangle. Okay, I'm going to tell you a story. In life's travails, you know, of course, you have experiences. And one of ours, we used to sit in a park in my hometown, Little Valley, up at Siegel North. Everybody congregated there. And those of us that had cars, we lined them up around the outside, you know. Came and went, just sat there, kind of harassed the people who were passing through. It's a 5-street intersection. And somebody, there's a creek that runs by the fire hall in that area. And somebody had gone down in the creek and they had found this big water snake. A harmless snake, it was big, you know, just this long. I mean, it was pretty impressive looking bugger. And they're playing with it now. I'm deathly afraid of snakes. I mean, you know, even a live snake away from me is better than a dead snake. Just get the thing away from me. Most people are. Whoever this was, they had the snake wrapped around their arm and they were playing with the thing, yada, yada, yada. And we had a friend named Pete Bowen, and Pete still lives up there. He might see this. Pete and I had Sobs. Many of you folks remember, I think Saab is out of business now, but in 56, 7, 8, 9, and up until very, very recently, Saab was pretty well, you know, one of the predominant foreign cars in this country. And I had a Saab, nice little car. Me and Pete both had Saabs. And we're sitting up there, and this guy is playing with this snake. Comes Pete. His was red. Mine was white. His was red. Here comes Pete. He comes around the park there, pulls into a slot. And the guy that had the snake, Pete's window was down. We didn't have air conditioning. Pete's window's down on his side. He walks up and he slings that snake through the window. Now, the snake hits Pete right here, wraps around his neck. Now this thing is, you know, doing its thing, you know. I don't know that it was really trying to choke him or anything, but it took a, you know, few seconds before Pete realized that there was a snake around his neck. And of course, once he did, he reaches up, you know, and he's grabbing this thing, you know, and he pulls it off, and he throws it in the back seat of that car. And he comes out of that car, just, excuse me, tears running down. Now the snake, of course, is in just as much of a tizzy as he is, so the snake's going down on the seat, in his seat cushions in his back car, and he's screaming, "Get that thing out of my car!" Whoever it was, I don't remember who threw that snake around his neck, but they did have the courtesy to go in there and dig around, pull the seat up, get the snake out of there. I've told that story to my wife several times, and she has said whoever that was would have been dead. Throw a snake around my neck, you know. Hey. Anyway, one of our little escapades there, threw a snake around Pete Fox's neck. And let's see what else we got. We got my cue cards here. Anybody got a computer and uses AVG free? I do, and I'm getting things on mine. Says that I only got 23 days to go, and it won't be free anymore. Hope that's not true. I guess I'll sign off. I've probably prattled on long enough. And I had to call Stenta tomorrow. Haven't done that. Need to call Kersey. Jim, I hope you're doing all right. I've heard scuttlebutt that you had a relapse, but also I heard scuttlebutt that hey, you're doing all right, so that's good. I can't find anything. Where'd it go? Okay, there I am. Okay, Cougar. If you're around, come see me. Haven't seen you other than just the other day. By the way, I got some 22 shells. Oh, here's something for you. You ought to go out and try ammunition. I mean, there's somebody out there going to have a revolution. I have a 22 semi-automatic. We've had a kind of a rash of possums around here since we got back from Signal North, and the wife has been popping them. But we ran out of shells. So I went down to Wally World, went in, didn't have any. Went to a place called Gibo's around here, they didn't have any. They said, we'll have some Friday. Of course, Friday's dialysis, so I got off dialysis, ran home, dialed them up on the phone, have you got any? somebody had been in line in both places and bought, I think Wally World had 20 cases of 22s. She bought them all. You know, if you're going to have a revolution, you know, a 22 just pisses people off. I mean, you know, unless you're a real crack shot and hit them in the right place, you ain't going to kill them. It's just going to make them mad. So I can't imagine why they're hoarding 22s. Anyway, I got some. Had one given to me. Had 2 boxes given to me. T-Man. Thank you. And Brian was supposed to get me some. May I get back with it. Anyway, Brian, top of the day to you, all my friends out there. Crystal. My son Kyle. You come in here next week. I don't know whether to tell you to do it or not do it. I guess do it if you want to. He was the scamp that got on my setup here. Tracy. Appreciate you guys. Back with hauling back with the merchandise you gave me. Heights and Raider, Ike, Gene, Daryl Mackey, hi guy, Tyler, David Bird, Jim Carsey, and all my other friends. I appreciate it, and hope you have a good week. I'll try to, like I say, I'm going to try to do this a little more regularly, and then maybe I'll get my thoughts together. Anyway, have a fine one.